The next step now is to put our foundations into the building. Navigate to ground floor. As you know, foundations go under load-bearing elements. By load-bearing elements are those elements that will carry the load down to the ground. So it will be the exterior walls and the columns. We won't need foundation for the partition walls. Navigate to foundation. You can see in the foundation, which is where we will be drawing our foundation walls. The exterior walls are there, and also the partition walls. We don't want these partition walls to be associated with the foundation. So this is what we're going to do. Let's select all the foundation walls. And now we'll change the bottom offset to 0. Now, when you do that, this comes up saying that the elements that have been created will change their position. Yes, no problem. Just say continue, and then it disappears. If you go back to your ground floor, you still find it there. It just means that we have reduced the height of the partition wall where it will start, that it will not be associated with the foundation level. Good. So this is what we want to see, because this is what we want to. This is how we want to draw our foundation walls on. To do that, activate the wall tool, open up the settings, and let's change the settings as follows. Wall top will be ground floor, current level will be foundation, the top length will be minus 0.1. Good. So that it comes down a bit. Awesome. So we don't want to use a composite, we just want a basic, and we want reinforced concrete structural. The thickness, let's make it 0.6, so it will be thick enough. In terms of the project, 0, let's just leave it as -1. And the reference line, leave the reference line as inside face, and the offset to be 0.05. Go down to classification and properties, and it is a load bearing element. That's the foundation. It is in exterior, and this is the third wall we are creating. In terms of layers, we'll give it structural bearing, and then we'll say okay. Now make sure you have the geometry method for rectangular selected in the geometry in the info box up here, and then hold down on the space bar on your keyboard to bring up the magic wand. You can see how it looks, and then just click the inside face of the exterior wall to place the foundation, and there it is. So that's the foundation there. Hit escape to deactivate the wall. If you click on it, you can see the foundation walls there. That's our foundation wall. Awesome. So now the next thing we need is to place foundation under our columns. To do that, right click on ground floor, and then choose show as trace reference. We want to see where the columns are so we can place the foundation under the columns. Now activate the column tool, open the settings. This time we want it to be linked to the ground floor. So link to ground floor. Top link will be 0.01. Bottom, it will be 0. Material this time will be reinforced concrete structural. The dimension will be 0.5. 0.5. Classification column 2, load bearing elements and its exterior. Layer structural bearing, and then we say okay. So what we just need to do is click on the center point of each column to place the foundation columns for the columns. That is it done. Now let's go to 3D to see what we have done. Here we can see the foundation, a little part of the foundation for the columns, but we can't see the one for the house, for the building. In order to do that, let's hide the layer of the site mesh because that's what's making us not able to see it. So select the site mesh, right click, layers, hide layer. When you hide the layer, it disappears, and now we can see the foundation under the building. That's the foundation we just drew, and that's the foundation for the columns. To bring back the site mesh, go to document layer, show all layers, and the site mesh comes back. And we have our building back as it is, but this time with the foundations under the walls and the foundation under the column.